Procjenjuje se da oko 3.200.000 hrvatskih iseljenika i njihovih potomaka živi izvan Hrvatske i širom svijeta. Podaci za Boliviju kažu 5.000, za Brazil, na primjer, 70.000. Ključni govor gospodina Tomislava Kuljiša, bolivijski lanac supermarketa Hipermaxi, čiji je predsjednik uprave upravo gospodin Tomislav Kuljiš, bolivijac hrvatskog podrijetla. On se odlučio za uvoz širokog asortimana hrvatskih proizvoda, mogućnost kupnje hrvatskih proizvoda imala je veliki utjecaj na hrvatsku zajednicu u Boliviji, a hrvatski proizvodi stižu u Boliviju u prijevodu na španjolski jezik. Zahvaljujući tome, hrvatska zajednica u Boliviji osjeća se bliže svojoj domovini. Dobrodošli i izvolite.
Dobrodošli. Dobar dan. I will talk in English. It's easier for me. Thank you for inviting me for this conference. Congratulations to all the organizers for putting this magnificent event, which is a great way to connect. Good day to everybody of you. I want to be short, straight. I'm going to give a great message so that everybody will like. Okay? Everybody will be happy because we are running late. So, what is important? Okay, what can I share with you? I can share the journey from Vis to Bolivia and the success of our family there. I come from a family in Vis. Today the Kuljiš family is bigger in Bolivia than anywhere in the world. Our Kuljiš, Mushun, in number of members and in number of business. Croatian has been very successful in Bolivia, even though Bolivia has a very small Croatian community. Some of the Croatians are the richest people in the world, in the country. Our family is full of entrepreneurs. Okay, I have a brother, a sister, a cousin. All of them are very successful. In my case, I run one of the 10 largest companies in the country, the largest retail and supermarket company with over 4,000 employees. And we are, as I said before, one of the most successful Croatian family, one of the richest families in the country, very respected and very hard worker. How we constructed an empire in Bolivia, coming from at that time, very poor island of Vis, now a beautiful place to do business. I'm here very happy and I want to introduce, please stand up, Ivan and Ivanka. They are my relative from Vis, so it's my nephew. They have a boat company, Transfer and Tourism. Thank you for the 5 minutes of advertisement, please. So we are successful people, we are hard workers, we are independent. So when you analyze the success is because self-determination. You don't need the government. You have to go your own way. You have to fight your own way. You have to fight all obstacles, okay? Stories of our country and our immigrants are full of problems, full of fights, problems in family, political problems, ideologies, and everything. But we should be behind that. And we should search for unity, for one nation, one Croatia, and one single goal, which is our blood that keeps us together and binds us together. And that's behind everything. Krk nije voda. Tako? And we are very strong people. And I think one of the success of our family in South America is we come with this great strength that we Croatian has, because wherever we go, we are very successful. And very, very few. We are successful in sports, in medicine, in science, because we are built very strong. They said it before. Okay? And we have values. I think we came this way to Bolivia and we became very successful because the values from these were transplanted. the seeds that my grandparents and grandparents that were winemakers and fishermen in the island of Peace, but mainly winemakers, that philosophy of hard work and discipline was transplanted to Bolivia. I can have the memory and the respect for my grandfather, Rade Kuljiš, called the Bestia, because he was a very strong man. He was the largest wine producer between the two wars in the island of Bees, over 50,000 liters. I had also a great-grandfather, Radicic, who was the strongest man on the island. But there were a lot of teachings. It was very hard to work. My father learned from their discipline, worked 18 hours, worked 24 hours. But not only hard work, also it was learned to be honest, to have a word, okay? I learned since a child that the most important asset that one person has was a reputation, and it was his own word. When somebody said, I'm gonna buy from you, I'm gonna pay from you, you're gonna come 2 weeks from now, and you will always fulfill your contracts, or you will fulfill what you have agreed in business. In business, trust and the word are the richest assets and the key to success. Because once you build a reputation, everybody wants to work with you, and all business are sure. Prices can go down, can go up, situation can change, but you agree to the terms when you do a business. And there was a saying also I learned when I was growing up, that people are tied with words and donkeys are tied with ropes. Okay, saying that when you are dealing with serious people, all you need is to have important talk, and that is, you don't need contract, you don't need anything when you're dealing with serious people. So all that philosophy was transplanted to Bolivia. Work values, honesty, reputation, trust, assets, plus good ideas, a little bit of luck, and education. My father was successful. He emigrated before the Second World War to Bolivia. He started working with the guys of Borobobo, with Bata Corporation. He came to my hometown where I was born, down in South America, with the first shoe store. And then he went into the leather and skin business, and that's how we became internalized. And that was our first successful business, a $50 million business back 40 years ago of exports and operations in Peru and Brazil. And part of our schooling as a businessman and our family first business. So it was very important, the education, when my father came, because in the early days of the immigration, what makes you successful and the way you could you compete with the local Indian population, and why Europeans were successful in this part of South America, is because they had education. My father had finished the high school and knew how to read and write, and he was fast in learning Spanish and having the education, and going to accounting school and working with the Czechs made him really disciplined and learn business skills, which was very important. We were lucky. We grew under that education. I went to a German high school, so I learned more about discipline and everything, with probably teachers that were formerly in the Second World War. Some of my teachers were from that schooling, so it was very tough to be with them. I was kicked out many times out of the schoolroom because, Kuljiš, why are you moving? Kuljiš, why are you looking that way? And so on. So discipline is very important, no? And that's what I learned in the German high school. To obey orders, be on time, do things when they have to be done, which are very important. Another key to success. I was lucky. I was the first one of the family to go to America and to study in an American university and be able to get an MBA in 1985. So when the modern market and supermarket came, there was a big opportunity there through alliances and things. And in 1996, I took over this one store, big hypermarket that was there, that was selling $10 million and 20 million in debt. Nobody wanted that business. Today, we grew up to a close to $500 million business, no debt, and almost 4,000 employees. And a great company that today in South America is the only company that is selling Croatian products. 2 years ago, after a lot of pressure, let's call it, I will come to Croatia and I will say, why don't you take product from Croatia to your country? You should sell products. You should bring products. You should do some trade. Okay. So finally, they convinced me to take Podravka. And they convinced me to take Podravka to Bolivia. And I'm going to tell you shortly the story how Podravka went into Bolivia. Because first, I realized that I was growing out. The relationship with my father, with Yugoslavia, with the former country, was very strong. I remember he brought sardines from Neptune, from Comisia. He brought wine when the winery in Vis was working. And he even brought one container of motorcycles, I think it was Colibri, that they were built in Slovenia, and he sold it in Bolivia. So I said, well, it's a memory for the family, the father, the country. I should bring Podravka. I will give them a try. And it was very difficult because the first and the most difficult problem I had with my buyers, supermarket buyers, they don't want to buy anything. They are very conservative. They don't want to take any risk, okay? So I said, okay, let's do one thing. If the product doesn't sell, I'll pay myself the container and I'll give it on donation. But let's bring and let's start together. I'm very happy to see that we are already several containers. And finally, I was able to visit the factory this time that I was in Zagreb. And also I was able to meet with the people of Forte Nova. And in this long career, the first time that I came, I was able to meet with the famous Todorić also, because it was the time when G2 started. So many things happen in Croatia in the supermarket business, in the agri-business, and the food business. But in summarizing, the Croatian spirit, the Croatian fight, the Croatian will to succeed is there. Entrepreneur loves obstacles and loves difficult situation. We don't need government regulations. We don't need government support. We don't need usually government help. We need the government to let us work. And that's always what we ask in Bolivia. Today in Bolivia, we are facing very tough conditions. We are going back kind into a socialism with a lot of regulations, a lot of permit, a lot of scarcity, strikes, blockades. But we're still working. And we learn to live on chaos. So next time, if I open a consulting business, I will say, I will teach how is to manage under chaos and to rebuild and redo the strategy every 2 weeks, no? Because situation changes. So you learn to live under very uncertain conditions, which is one of the characteristics of the country where I live. I was surprised from a comment they made in Podravka when they talk about South America, how exotic it is in Croatia when he mentioned the term terra incognita. Okay, saying, why? Well, that's what the way we perceive in South America, Africa, you know, it's very wild there. Well, it is in a certain way, but it's very nice in another one. So it's something I wanted to share to you about our entrepreneurial story, about our relationship with the homeland, and how we Croatians feel that we are one nation, independently where are in the world. Croatia is bigger than its territory. Croatia is the world. And the big asset is that spirit that we Croatians have, that strength that we have, that we can overcome anything. And we can see it in sports, we can see it in soccer, in football. When the team is defeated, it becomes stronger. And that's something, one of the characteristics I also realize about myself. is when you are down, when you are hit, they're hitting you, you feel in the worst position, is when that resilience and that real strength come out to you. When everybody thinks they have defeated you, you come back very strong and you come back to win. So we are winners. Thank you very much for being here today.